Today, we're going to be talking about, do affairs or relationships that started as an affair end well? This video is for you if you're either in a monogamous relationship with someone that you were in a relationship with that started as an affair, or you've just been in the transition of ending an affair relationship and now moving into a monogamous relationship, or even you're in a relationship right now with a married man and you're wondering, will this end well? What I want to give you here is some tools on, okay, how do we set yourself up in a place where you are honoring yourself in a way that your relationships in your life do end well? If we can get you to a place where you're no longer allowing any distortion, any leaky behavior, any enmeshment or lack of boundaries, if you're no longer letting that into your life, then by all means, you're going to invite flourishing relationships. Now, does that mean relationships are then free from struggle? No, not absolutely not. And relationships have struggles. But what often causes affair relationships or relationships that started as an affair to end is that there were patterns that were happening inside the affair relationship that was not cleaned up. And then now you're in a relationship with him and these patterns still continue. Often, these patterns could have been in the relationship before the affair with their primary partner, before they met you. Now you're experiencing, if you are in this relationship or if you're heading down that trajectory, these things are still going to come up. I want to start with, there's a quote that says, if you don't want a relationship with games, don't play games in the beginning of a relationship. What happens here in affair relationships is there's often games, and I'm not talking about let's be hard to get or anything like that, but there is often energies that are manipulative in nature, and manipulative can feel like a triggering or powerful word. But what I just want to I want to soften it here and just say energetically, if you withdraw in order to get them to come closer, or they withdraw in order to get you to come closer, then this isn't serving. Now, it's a strategy that works. Again, this is one pattern of manipulative energies that is not serving, and it's soft. It's a pattern of protection. Or it doesn't need to be manipulative, but it can be manipulative. It's a pattern of protection. And what I want to say is, if you're going to start a relationship off that is coming from energies that are games, then you're going to experience this in the relationship. Make sure that you are no longer standing for games in any relationship dynamics that you're in. No games. You want to make sure that this relationship is pure, honest, doing the hard work. When you no longer have games, it will mean that you have to be vulnerable, honest, communicate things, and that is going to be confronting, and it's going to probably invite in a lot of conflict if there has been quite a few games. However, if you can do the dirty work, the uncomfortable work from the beginning. And what I mean by from the beginning, just starting today, if you can do the uncomfortable work, say the uncomfortable things and have the hard conversations, then essentially you're going to put yourself in a position of testing the relationship and seeing, okay, can our relationship weather honesty and difficult conversations in order for us to evolve as a couple and as individuals? Or is it so difficult to be so honest in a relationship that it actually drives us apart? And if it drives us apart, then you don't want to then be resorting to games in order to pull yourself together. Because if you can't be fully honest in a relationship and feel very safe to express yourself, then what is this relationship? It's gonna die anyway, because if you can't express yourself, then you're going to fully lose yourself in the relationship. So you may as well start expressing yourself fully now, go through the storms, be triggered or your partner be triggered and all of this, but at least you're inviting in a relationship that is pure, honest, on the same page, and really doing the real work. I don't want to give statistics on do relationships that start as an affair last? Because this question in itself is inviting the statistics to be your driving factor for if you're going to work out with your partner or not. It's giving your power away to statistics versus what is it that I really want in a relationship and how can we make it last? Because if you're asking from a place of how can we make it last, then you're immediately being like, okay, this game, these things don't work for me. This is what I want more of. This is where I need to feel safer. If we're approaching it from these aspects, this is what needs to be cleaned up. This is where we're not acting from a place of integrity. This is where we're being deceptive, and that does not work for me. When we're really highlighting these things, then you're allowing your statistics to be very different to, say, the common nature of affair relationships. Yes, affairs are betrayal. They are coming from a place of deception and lies and a lack of honesty, a lack of integrity, a lack of truthfulness. When it comes from that place, it doesn't need to end in a relationship from that place. But as soon as you're catching this behavior, you got to make it stop because you do not want to be in a relationship where this behavior continues. Now, if you start to call out a lack of integrity, a lack of honesty, a lack of transparency, a lack of truthfulness, if you start to call out this behavior in your partner, it's probably going to make them really uncomfortable. And they're probably going to get louder, or they could get more defensive. They could dismiss you. That there is really showing, okay, how receptive are they to hearing the uncomfortable things? Now, let's be honest. When we hear things where we've done wrong, it's deeply shaming. And often we do want to defend ourselves because it's really uncomfortable to hear. It's going to be uncomfortable, but then the proof is in whether or not, once you do share honestly how you're feeling and what isn't aligned with you in terms of how you want to show up in partnership, if you share this stuff and they might be triggered for a time, do they then change their ways? Do things then change? Because once things do change, then you're on a path of, okay, we're on a path of healing, and relationships are full of healing and evolving, and we're not all perfect, and we have our things, and all relationships have their things. And so are we on a trajectory of these patterns are no longer continuing as soon as we're bringing them up? Or does it actually become more unsafe to speak honestly in the relationship? When I was in this long-term affair that I was in, I felt muted. I didn't feel like I wouldn't have even acknowledged this at the time, but I didn't feel like I could express myself. And if I expressed myself honestly, I felt like I was doing wrong by them, that maybe I was being too harsh with my words and I needed to soften things. And so I was always looking, okay, how can I craft my words in a way that they don't find this triggering? How can I do this delicately with love? But I was just always eggshelling. The truth is, I never felt safe to express myself or to honestly call out, hey, that behavior doesn't feel good to me. I don't like that. I don't want to be operating from that place that isn't pure. I didn't feel safe doing that. And so it was in the affair relationships, but it was also in all the other relationships, or most of the other relationships that I attracted very soon after that, was just constantly feeling unsafe to fully express myself. I never felt fully safe. This is a pattern, and this is something that you're probably used to of not feeling fully safe to be able to be very honestly expressive. And yeah, you want to be in a relationship where you can share everything, where you and your partner know each other inside out, and where you just can be honest. And so use the time right now as a real testing ground of, okay, can we exercise honesty? And can we withstand any turbulence that does come with having difficult conversations? And then this will really build you into a stronger relationship, or ultimately things won't go well. And I think then that speaks to itself that this relationship in the long run wouldn't have been safe anyway because you couldn't fully express yourself. Next, I just want to quickly cover is there's a familiar feeling in people that do get themselves into affair relationships, or women that have gotten themselves into affair relationships, of constantly longing for more. It's this feeling that love was never fully close to them. And so they're always in a state of craving that love and connection. When love is in an affair relationship, there's this, again, this meeting, this familiar emotional state of constant longing and constant craving. When an affair ends and you commit to each other, it then becomes threatening to the heart because for both people, because love is very close, it's committed, and then instead of this familiar feeling of always longing, you have them, and yet it's very threatening. And so then you go to a place of, oh my gosh, have I made the right decision? Is this even the right person for me? And you just go into a whole nother state of fears that were never fears to begin with in the affair relationship. Now, when you approach these fears, this is not a bad thing. It's okay that a lot of these fears come up, and this is really the heart protecting itself. It's not necessarily questioning the how aligned is this relationship, and it can be, but often it's coming from a place of you were always longing for this person. You never had to question, is this person right for me? And now that they're moving on and from their wife or whoever it may be and committing to you, then you suddenly are in a place of asking, well, hold on, is this right for me? And so it can be very discombobulating to the nervous system to suddenly be in a completely different state of being in terms of the emotions. When you're in the affair relationship, you're going through your whole host of emotions. But that's not to say as soon as the affair ends and you come together that there's going to be a whole other set of emotions that comes with it. Now, this isn't to say that the relationship will then not last, but this is again about being relationships invite an opportunity to heal our stuff. And as soon as we're in intimate partnership with other people, these things get brought to the surface. And so instead of riding on the train of being freaked out by, is this person right for me? Let's address the fears that are coming up, that where love is available to you and now it's too close, and am I worthy of having it, and can I make it last, and will it work out in the end, or will I fail, or will I be trapped, and all of those fears. Let's address all of those first before we address if you should leave the relationship. There is safety in affair relationships and unconscious safety because love is at a distance. You can't quite have it. And so you're always wanting more. And as soon as your relationship, the affair relationship ends and it becomes a committed relationship, then it becomes really unsafe to the nervous system. Not a It's not a true unsafety, but it's an unsafe of, okay, well, will I get hurt again? Can I be safe to open my heart? And when it's in an affair relationship, there is this unconscious perceived safety that I can open my heart because I can only open it so much because they're taken and they can't go to anyone else and I can't be betrayed here. And so that we have this unconscious feeling of safety that I can open with this married man. And then there's all these feelings of like, okay, he's secure and he's got his life together and all of that stuff. But I won't go into that today. But what I will say is when he does leave his wife for you, then it then threatens love to be closer. And are you safe with having love that's so close for you? Or will then you be betrayed again and your heart left open and wounded and hurt? And so there's a lot of wounds that come up when a relationship transitions from an affair relationship to a committed monogamous relationship. If you're facing a lot of these feelings right now and you're feeling shameful or like, oh my God, am I stupid for ending my relationship and then moving into this relationship with my affair partner, be gentle with yourself. Be very gentle with yourself. This is such a natural process. And I just want to say I'm really sorry that you're experiencing this, all these feelings come up because it's overwhelming. And then yet it feels stupid and shameful that we did all like we went through this whole process only to get to a place of feeling uncertain and unsteady of if this relationship will work. And so I feel for you if you're going through this. No, you're not crazy. Yes, this is absolutely a pattern that happens and we can support you through it. I have a support community for women that are in affair relationships. And even if you're now in a committed relationship with your affair partner, we can support you with all that's coming up there. I also offer one-to-one private coaching where I can support you privately in helping you through this. So if you are facing a lot of this, I can help you either make sure that you're going to transition from a fair relationship to a monogamous relationship in a really strong way, or if you are in a monogamous relationship with an affair partner and you're going through a lot of challenges there, then I can absolutely support you with getting clear on where it is that you're heading and strengthen yourself in that. I hope that helps. Bye for now.